The use of artificial intelligence in military applications has been increasing, but my guest says it comes with immense risk because those new autonomous systems introduce a possibility of new types of errors that happen in war. Kelsey Atherton is a military technology journalist for the Wars of the Future Past newsletter. Kelsey, welcome to the program.
Happy to be here.
Your article opens with the accidental shoot-down of a British fighter jet during the Iraq War. Tell us what happened.
So 2 days into the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, Patriot anti-missile and anti-air batteries were set up. These are designed to intercept incoming missiles, designed to shoot down planes. And they saw two British Tornado jets. These are ground attack jets. They're used to hit targets on the ground. They saw two of them flying, but it didn't identify them both as friendly jets. It identified the first as a friendly jet and missed that the second one following it, it thought it was a missile. And so the automated systems automatically targeted it and shot it down as though it was a missile targeting the Patriot battery. And that was the first RAF casualties of the war. It was friendly fire. Both crew members on the Tornado jet died.
It's been almost 20 years since that happened. What are the safeguards in place now with the Patriot missiles that would prevent that kind of error?
So among the meaningful changes in safeguards are one of the ones that was supposed to be in place but wasn't quite set up yet or wasn't functioning at the time are friendly identifiers that the Tornado jet would send a signal to the Patriot battery, letting it know, no, I'm actually on your side. That system failed, but there's other steps which are scaling back the automation. There's steps to put more in human hands to assess the threat level going in to see we're expecting to see many friendly aircraft and very few missiles. So we can scale back the automation. We can if it's a missile coming for our anti-missile battery, we can trust that it will hit the battery instead because the crew will be operating it somewhere remotely. But these are sort of adopted ad hoc. Once the system is in automation, there's not nearly as many safeguards as you might imagine.
So as artificial intelligence technology advances, you say that new systems introduce the possibility of new types of error. Explain that.
Sure. So when we have a weapon in the field, it can fail in some predictable ways, like it won't work, it'll identify the wrong, it'll hit a wrong target. One of the big changes, or one of the kind of new errors, is if it interprets something based on training data. And this is a big part of how autonomous systems work, is you feed them lots and lots of data. It runs it through an iterative process, and it figures out, oh, here's how I identify targets. One of the classic examples, right, is how do you distinguish a wolf from a coyote on training image sets? And if you the algorithm got really good at it, but it figured out that, if it sees snow in the background, it'll figure out it's a wolf. And if it sees desert, it'll figure out it's a coyote. And if you apply that to a weapon system, right, where it's it's looking for friendly planes or it's looking for missiles, and you give it the wrong thing, it'll act on information that humans would not expect it to act on. And it'll do it at a very fast speed. That's the point of automated systems, is to operate faster than humans can.
So I guess the big question here, Kelsey, is how should the Defense Department strike that right balance between human and machine decision-making?
There's two big approaches. And the first is if you're putting an automated system into the field, is if you can trust that the automated system can be more expendable than a human piloted or human crewed system, you mitigate some of the risk, because if the automated system has the speed to act quickly but can wait to operate until it's very clear that the signal is there, the error is the risk is that you lose the system, but you don't lose people in the process. And that's just one way too. If you're going to put systems that operate faster than humans, you should be able to build in some breathing room so that humans can at least assess what happens before figuring out how to respond. The other way to do it is to actively plan and train on scenarios, on errors, have scientists looking at how it can fail, how it can go badly, so that it has some understanding of how it will fail in the lab or in training before you have this attached to a live weapon in war.
Well, as you were saying before, artificial intelligence is only as good as the data used to train it. why do you think the DoD has struggled to get good data, which will vastly improve the performance of these weapon systems?
So one of the real challenges is finding accurate data of real life situations. And that means having sensors that work, that have sensors that anticipate. We can kind of look at this as a sort of analogy to how self-driving cars are trained, where it takes a tremendous amount of traffic data, and even then they're still not anticipating all the scenarios you can encounter in traffic. And traffic, by and large, is not a scenario where the other cars are actively trying to kill the car collecting data. That's not usually how driving works. So in war, you have to have the data collection in there. You have to trust that you're getting enough of it, and then you have to trust that it will accurately reflect the kind of scenarios that will be encountered in future combat situations. You can do some of this by building synthetic data. You can train or anticipate and sort of teach it like, we think this is what will happen, and you put that into the algorithm. Or you can do it in training, but it's a lot harder than just capturing all the data you need.
And very briefly, Kelsey, you know, in February 2020, the department did release a set of principles of AI ethics. Do you think those principles are enough to address the issues you're discussing?
I think the principles are a good start. I think there is more work needs to be done. I don't think you can put principles out and say it's just once and done. When the DoD released the principles, they labeled them 1.0, which suggests that they anticipate change coming. And I think as these systems get developed, we should see more change, and we'd be disappointed if we don't.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us, Kelsey. Thanks for your coming on the program.
A pleasure.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Government Matters interviews.